So, we're having a new pandemic, it looks like it. I hope not. I am begging that it doesn't happen again. But now there's a hantavirus that is 50% likely to kill you. I saw different sources. Some sources say that it's 40%, some sources say that it's 50%. Luckily, it doesn't spread as easily as COVID did. And this one, you get affected through contact with infected rodents from their poo and urine and saliva. Who consumes that stuff? You know what I mean? And you know what's even better? Hantavirus now in 9 countries. From the looks of it, North America, Europe, and the South African Republic. So yeah, I'm from Europe. And most of my most of my viewers watching this are from Europe and North America. So yeah, panic time. And I found this video, The Next Pandemic, Hantavirus by Maury. Let's check it out, and maybe he will calm us down, or make us even more panicked.
All right, so this furry little fella that we see on our screens right now just killed 3 people. I know that sounds shocking, but it's true actually. Well, not specifically this rodent. I just wanted to show you this pygmy rice rat has been suspected and linked to something what we now know is called the hantavirus, which is
I will never be able to watch the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoons ever again.
Killed 3 people and have gotten 5 to 6 more people on a particular ship sick. You know, according to multiple reports, they say passengers on board the cruise ship that has a suspected hantavirus outbreak where 3 people have died and 5 to 6 people are sick cries out as the ship remains near Cape Verde. Hantavirus is a rare but serious illness usually spread through contact with rodents or their waste. Additionally, what I've been able to learn, this virus is basically spread, I think, airborne via rat urine, feces, or their saliva. Typically, if enclosed environments, rats, they can crawl in tiny spaces, and or ventilation systems where they, you know, they poo, they pee, they eat. The dry particulates of their byproduct.
Most people, more than 50% of people in the Western, in like Europe, North America, right? We live in big cities where there's rats.
Waste can then be mixed in with dust, then spray that out for ventilation, and humans can breathe that in. Unfortunately, it is a very deadly virus. You have like a 50% chance of living or dying. I would not want to catch it, which is why they were holding off on even allowing these people to board or dock anywhere. But I believe last I heard, they're slowly letting these people off onto land now and
in Spain
to take very serious precautions as to how to.
I mean, hey, listen, Spain is insane. They've let over 1 million migrants, probably more, undocumented in all of this. Now they're letting this happen. I thought this wasn't in the U.S., but this is a virus that has existed, and doctors have known about this since like, I don't know, 100 years, not 100, but since the like 1900s. That's at least what I've heard.
And of course,
so that's why they're not panicking that much.
The ship immediately.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's always Kira.
Serious, but you never know. And the kind of scary thing about this is a passenger on the MV Hantavirus, I believe it's called, which is what it's basically a polar Antarctic expedition ship where, you know, rich people, not too rich, but $10,000 to $15,000 per ticket. I think they loop around South America to head on over to Antarctica on these polar expeditions. Well, a passenger from the cruise ship, kind of a small cruise ship, about I think 75 passengers or so. He came out speaking about his experience, and so far, by the way, 3 people have died. The first person to die was a 70-year-old. He caught the virus, long, excruciating, I think painful, slow death. And then his wife died in South Africa, where they managed to dock, I believe, or allow her to hop off the ship, get medical attention, and she died. And then I believe a 3rd person died who was a staff member. But anyway, here is his experience. Here was
okay, this is the video we've all heard.
Video like this, but I feel like I need to say something, so I wrote a few things down. I'm currently on board the MV Hantavirus. And what's happening right now is very real for all of us here. We're not just a story.
This is crazy.
We're not just headlines. where people...
Guys, read between the lines. He's making this just in case he dies, because apparently they were saying this ship was going to stay out there in the, I guess, in the ocean and sea waters for a month.
I was about to say, I want this ship to stay, just stay there, okay? Until the whole virus is resolved and everything is, you know, everybody is healthy, everybody who, you know, survived. I know this is dark to say, but I didn't want this to land anywhere. I just wanted, you know, just send them emergency health care packages, vaccines. Send them something and keep the ship in the middle of the ocean. We can like finance the medicine, we can finance the food, everything, the fuel, everything. And I feel bad for him and everybody else on there, but listen, man, we all feel sympathy for you and everybody there. But the ship should have never docked anywhere. You guys should have stayed in the middle of the ocean. And medicine should have been just delivered to you guys.
I think that's happening, right? I think they're slowly letting people off the ship, taking extreme precautions. But of course, since this thing has like a 40 to 50% survival rate, you know, I guess this is kind of like his last will.
People with families, with lives, with people waiting for us at home. There's a lot of uncertainty, and that's the hardest part.
Jesus.
All we want right now is to feel safe.
Same.
Clarity.
I hope you're okay.
Home. So if you're seeing coverage about this, just remember that there are real people behind it.
Yeah.
And that this isn't something happening somewhere far away.
Right.
It's happening to us right now. I'll share more when I can, but for now,
all right,
I just ask for your kindness and understanding.
So guys, a lot of countries were aware of this and they just did not want these people to dock. They're also saying that this was picked up somewhere in South America, specifically around Argentina, although I think epidemiologists, these people who study the transmissions of viruses, correct me if I'm wrong, are saying they're kind of in debate about what part of Argentina this virus, this hantavirus, possibly spreaded by the pygmy rice mat, was picked up on. But yeah, it's from one of these rats, these pygmy mice rats. As you can see, Google says there's small nocturnal rodents in the genus I can't read that, found throughout Central and South America in diverse habitats such as forests, scrublands, and agricultural fields, right? They are solitary, mainly terrestrial, feed on seeds and insects, and can be agricultural pests, right? All right, so rats, mice. And you know, people are now saying things like, I looked into that cruise ship outbreak and bro, I will be watching how that'll be handled like a hawk, because one slip up and it's another pandemic for all of us. I don't think that'll happen. Although, you know,
I hope not. I hope not. Man, listen, if this happens and then if this actually becomes into the like next pandemic, I don't know if you already thought about this, but if this actually spreads into like the new pandemic, and everybody gets it, that's like 40 to 50% of the population, like of the world, you know, just mainly most of the old and very young folk, you know, with the, you know, weaker immune systems. So that's fucking great. I've already heard a lot of like, I don't know why I even went on like Reddit. I went on some Reddit post because it just popped up on Google. And there were tons of people saying, oh, the rich billionaires created this now just to wipe out half of the population and of the world and all of this. This is the new COVID. The first COVID was much less successful and so on. The richest people are the oldest people in the world, just so you know. So that doesn't really make that much sense, but I don't know. I also saw some comments of people saying they probably have the vaccine for this. But us normies, no, we don't have it. 90%, not 90, but let's say at least 500 million to like a billion, to probably more than a billion, will, you know, yeah. I don't, can I take a spaceship to Mars?
To us until it does. Other people are saying all eyes on this hantavirus outbreak. It's not looking good. One person, Greg, said, So should I start buying toilet paper, you know, in reference to the
Why?
coronavirus?
I never understood the toilet paper craze, well, in the COVID
just
days.
in Switzerland detects Hantavirus in MV Hondius passenger hospitalized in Zurich after onboard outbreak alert. So I'm not sure if this was like a random person from a previous
What did people
expedition
think would happen?
or a person who was let off that specific ship. Here, as we can see, is the MV Hondius. Basically, by the way, this company, I believe they have a history of expeditions, scientific research, and now they're in the business of selling tickets to just regular people who want to go on polar expeditions around South America and into Antarctica.
Well,
Of
that
course,
business is
some
gonna
comments
die
on
now.
Twitter say give it a month, and this hantavirus would have spread across the globe. An
No.
active outbreak alert, and they still let passengers off the ship. Those people are on connecting flights right now.
I'm not even a scientist or an expert or whatever, and even I knew that they should have stayed there. Immediately after they got off the ship, tons of people spread all around North America and Europe. But again, this shit has had, people got these kinds of viruses. A few people a year in the US, a few people a year in Europe, right? And you never really hear about this stuff because I guess it's very hard to get, right? But I didn't know it was. Now, all of a sudden, it's insane, but the virus has existed for decades. I mean, more. And the scientists and doctors have known about this for way longer. So now, all of a sudden, it's this big of a deal. I don't get it. What's happening?
Of course, people.
Am I
don't know
wrong?
about the validity of them being on connecting flights. I doubt they would allow that to happen. If we assume, this isn't calculated. Listen, I'm not getting into any conspiracies here. I'm just saying, based off of
He saw it Reddit stories.
transmission rate, I think they call it the R0 of contagion. They're saying it's below 2, so the contagion rate is not that high, and the lethality of it, they're saying is pretty high. But it's just crazy how allegedly, supposedly, one little rodent can cause so much damage.
We need to kill all of them.
Here says cruise ship infected with terrifying hantavirus strain that has 40% mortality rate, which is great. 40% is crazy.
All of these rats and mice, by the way, that have all of the virus. YouTube, please don't destroy my channel. Okay, I'm not advocating for anybody dying. No humans, please. No, not innocent people.
Nobody wants to take the risk. World Health Organization believes
I have to
here's
say
what
something.
happens next. Again, it's not Jesus. It's not looking too good. 40% mortality is crazy. And just for reference, the mortality rate, or IFR, for COVID is 0.05%, which is
that low?
which is 1 in 2,000 people, just for reference. And this virus is 40 times that. Anyway, New York Post says health officials believe a rare strain of hantavirus that spreads from person to person and has a 40% mortality rate is responsible for the outbreak on the MV Hondius cruise ship that has killed 3 passengers and sickened 7 others. And this is the ship right here. They say, though hantavirus is typically only spread through rodent droppings, this particular strain is an alarming exception because this is a first, I think, of its case historically, and it's one that can't be ruled out. I was doing a little digging last night. They say this is the first time something like this in this specific way has happened. So that we're in uncharted territory here. And I believe this is a closer shot of the ship right here. An official said, we do believe that there may be some human-to-human transmission that is happening among the really close contacts. They also say the exceptional strain, the Andes virus, is only found in the mountains of Argentina and Chile. The MV Hondius started its weeks-long voyage in Argentina on March 20th, but not in an area where that strain is usually found. Understand the language here, usually found. They say the Andes hantavirus strain carries a mortality rate of nearly 40%, meaning a worst-case scenario could spiral quickly in a confined environment such as the 80-cabin, 353-foot ship with roughly 150 people on board, so it's double what I thought initially. The terrifying strain seemed even more likely after the World Health Organization said no rodents were found on board the vessel. That's crazy. Holy shit. See, that type of stuff, when I hear, scares me.
So this is a different type of hantavirus? The Andes type of hantavirus? So, is this type more lethal? Is this type spreading easier? Because let me research this. No, hantavirus is not new at all. Scientists and doctors have known about it for decades, and evidence suggests humans may have been getting infected by them for hundreds or even thousands of years. Ancient Chinese medical texts, doctors, blah, blah, Okay, here the differences between COVID and the hantavirus spread, the spreading stuff that we mentioned. The scary part is, it also starts like a normal flu suddenly. Okay, but why is it that big of a deal now? Okay, fuck GPT, man. Let's continue with the video.
On board, were there any droppings? But you know, where did this come from? Surely they had to have found something. They can't just find people sick with no evidence of them being sick from something on board, unless this came from mainland and then spread it from human contact to human contact. Here we have some screenshots of the place on board. Yeah, clearly people are scared. They're in their cabins. Yeah. Here's some footage I just found on TikTok from a news publication.
Of the cruise ship currently hit by a hantavirus outbreak looks like. This footage was taken by a passenger on board the MV Hondius in December 2025. About 150 people are currently stuck on the ship, which left Argentina in April for Cape Verde, and a number of passengers have been infected by the rodent-spread virus.
Okay, so to clarify, this was filmed in December of 2025. So this is just a video inside someone has filmed, just to show what the inside of the ship looks like.
A Dutch couple and a German national have died, and a UK national was evacuated from the ship and is in intensive care in South Africa. 3 other passengers with suspected hantavirus are now en route to the Netherlands. A man in Switzerland who was traveling on the MV Hondius but left his trip from South America at the end of April is also in hospital with the virus.
So my suspicions were right. This guy actually was on the same expedition, the same ship, but he left earlier in the trip. Okay, so apparently where they left the trip, they left from St. Helena, which is a remote volcanic island in the South Atlantic Ocean. And just for reference, St. Helena is right here. Pretty remote, not gonna lie, but you can see it's between South America and off the coast of Africa, right? And this is a polar expedition.
Yeah, this is definitely like the type of place you would expect this kind of like virus to like suddenly outbreak all of a sudden. But there you go. You guys can finish the video. The video's in the description. Tell me what you guys think. I mean, I'm gonna say keep safe, but all of us that live in you know, North America, Europe, now South African Republic too, and especially we that live in big cities. Yeah, I don't know what to say. Usually in COVID, I would say, you know, keep it, you know, keep safe. All of this, try not to get infected. Now, well, it's much harder to get infected, but if you do get infected, keep safe and have a nice day.